Hello and welcome to my video on 2.3 Order of Operations from the Math Makes Sense 9 textbook. This is in the Power and Exponent unit. Powers and Exponent. So first of all, we're going to look at this question, and hopefully by the end of it you can understand the importance of order of operations. So first of all, first thing I want to notice is that we start with this premise, 1 equals 1, that we all, hopefully, can agree with. Then, at the end, we get to this one we hear, 4 equals 2, which is most obviously wrong. So hopefully we see that there's some sort of error in the work because it got from something that's true to something that's not true, so there must be something wrong. So we're going to look through step by step and see if there was any step that was wrong. So here, on this left side, we added a +1, and we added brackets around, which isn't really a big deal. You can add brackets around anything, and it's fine. So we added a +1, and we added brackets. On the right side, we added just the +1 without the brackets, which is fine. At the moment, 1 + 1 equals 1 + 1 is completely true. On the next step, we have 1 + 1 in brackets squared, so the squared is important, equals 1 + 1 squared. So that's important. So the difference here now is that the square only talks about what's right next to it. What's right next to it? The bracket. What's right next to this one? The 1. So the square now talks about what's right next to it instead of the entire thing. So now that we know order of operations, the brackets really make a big difference. And so now if we go to the next step, we're going to see 1 + 1 equals 2, and then the square hits it, whereas the square just stays on the single 1. So 2 squared is 4, and then 1 + 1 here, 1 + 1 squared is still 1 + 1, and then 1 + 1 equals 2. So where is our error? Well, our error is in this step, assuming that the error is that we assumed that you can add an exponent of 2, that we can square it in the same spot once we have put that bracket, and we can't. So the reason for that is something pretty amazing that most math guys will call BEDMAS. BEDMAS. So BEDMAS stands for the order of how you have to do things. So B is for brackets, E is for exponents, D is for division, oh, my pen isn't working perfectly, that's why there's no I's. There you go. Multiplication, addition, subtraction. And so with BEDMAS, if you remember it, it helps you because it lets you know that the order is always down, or how you normally read. So left to right or down, depending on how you wrote the BEDMAS. So one other way of remembering that fits in with our time of the year right now, as you can see, we're just before Halloween. So B, I'm going to put a name, Beverly. E, she enters. D, the dark. M, mansion. A, and she screams. So Beverly enters the dark mansion and screams. So hopefully that helps you remember BEDMAS as it goes across, or if you just remember BEDMAS. Honestly, as long as you remember the order, it's fine, but BEDMAS should help you remember the order. It's easier to remember just the letters, BEDMAS, and then from there, figure out that it's got brackets, exponents, division, multiplication, addition, and then subtraction in that order. If you just memorize the words, brackets, exponents, etc., it's going to be really hard to remember. So that is the basics of this topic. Now we're going to just talk about the importance of brackets, and we'll do another example question here. So let's say we have a question like, well, here's a fun one. Use for and any type of operation and brackets, anything like that, and get every number from 1 to 10. So let's start with the number 1. How could I write it as 4? Well, I could write 4 divided by 4. That's nice and easy. Let's get the number 2. Well, that's going to be a little bit harder. So now we have to do something slightly different. Let's do 4 plus 4 divided by 4. Does that work? No. What we need to do is we need to have these brackets, because what that means is that this part will change into 8, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. So these brackets end up being very important in a question like this. 3, let's see another spot we could do this. Well, I mean, you could just continue going on with the same sort of basic method of just going like this. So 4 plus 4 plus 4, bracketed, divided by 4. Or you can try to think about a new way. Let's see, 4, let's try to do a different way. 4 times 4 minus 4 divided by 4. So now this makes it a little bit more complicated. So this one's really easy. Gives us 12, and then the 4 comes down, so we divide what's inside the brackets by 4. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. That one's nice and easy. Let's move on to the next one here. Now, with our BEDMAS, we can look at this question. We're looking at this one here now. And we want to start with brackets. Okay, so that hopefully is obvious too. There's 2 brackets here. But within that, there's actually 2 different operations. There's a times and there's the subtraction. So there's multiplication and there's subtraction. So we need to be careful about which one we do first, because it will make a difference. So in our order here, multiplication comes before subtraction. So we need to do multiplication first, then subtraction. So here, we're going to do 4 times 4 is 16. And we'll drag down the minus 4. Divide by 4. Then we do 16 minus 4 is 12. Divided by 4. And then hopefully you notice that that's the same as last time, which is 3. So you can just keep going with this, and it's quite an interesting question. And from the homework pages, it's question 26, I believe. So it's quite an interesting question, and it really forces you to think about how you can use brackets and how that will influence how you do BEDMAS and how you get the number. So yeah, BEDMAS, it's actually fairly simple. Try just to remember, if you're going to remember one thing from this video, try to remember this. This is all you need. Brackets, exponents, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. Everything else works with this BEDMAS principle. Sometimes inside a bracket, you'll have another bracket. And then you have to do that next. Or inside a bracket, you'll have division and exponents. Well, which one do you do first? You do exponents because it's higher up. So you just think of it as a ranking. Whichever one has a better ranking, do that one first, then do the weaker ranking. And hopefully that helps you guys out. Good luck!